Russia is gradually gaining ground throughout Africa with the help of its military. Russia has become more present and influential in Africa in recent years, which has sparked conversations and arguments over its goals and ramifications. Africa has become an important territory for Russia's geopolitical objectives as it continues to strategically expand its influence as a global power outside its traditional domains of influence. Analysts, decision-makers, and the global society at large are becoming more interested in and concerned about this expanding participation. Niger is one of the many African countries that has welcomed Russia with the help of its leader, Abdurrahman Chiani. While some argue that Russia's involvement is motivated by a desire to increase its own international stature and counterbalance Western influence, others voice worries about the possibility of resource exploitation, neocolonialism, and the effect on regional stability. Before we continue, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the new tourist channel to get all updates on Niger and what Russia has to offer. Also, let us know in the comments what you think of Russia's contribution to Africa. In a recent turn of events, Russian military trainers have arrived with an air defense system and other equipment as part of Niger's strengthening security relations with Moscow. In January, the military regime of Niger decided to increase military collaboration with Russia following the expulsion of French forces that were assisting in quelling violent uprisings in other Sahelian countries. The objective was to increase the combat readiness of Niger's military. This Sahelian nation, which has been under military rule since the coup, so adopted the same strategy as its neighbors Mali and Burkina Faso, who had Russian instructors stationed there after driving out French forces. The Russians are helping them in their war against al-Qaeda and the Islamic State jihadists, who are the greatest threat in the region. It was reported late on Thursday that the latest military equipment and military instructors from Russia's Ministry of Defense had landed in the Niamey airport. Footage of a Russian transport plane arriving at Niamey airport has been all over the news. From all indications, Russia will help install an air defense system that will ensure complete control of Niger's airspace. These Russian military trainers will train the military personnel in the West African nation using the military equipment that has arrived. Take note that the head of Niger's military government, General Abdurrahman Chiani, spoke via telephone with Russian President Vladimir Putin on March 26. The two leaders discussed security cooperation as well as global strategic cooperation against current threats. The Kremlin's continued discussions with Chiani demonstrate coordinated Russian efforts to gather resources and expand influence throughout the region as Western influence has waned in the Sahel. As all this is going on, Niger has asked the United States to withdraw its military presence in the country. This is a significant move as Niger has housed about 1,000 American troops who play a role in counterterrorism efforts in the region. The Nigerian government claims the U.S. presence violates their constitution and that the deployment lacked proper authorization. The U.S. has become frightened, and they are now making diplomatic attempts to comprehend the circumstances and maybe keep a presence in Niger. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken visited Niger for the first time just a year ago. He described the country in West Africa as a model of resilience, a model of democracy, and a model of cooperation. A coup by the military toppled the government 5 months later. Niger is now severing its military connections with Washington and demands the withdrawal of U.S. troops. They want to follow the soldiers of the former colonial power, France, who were driven out in December of last year. Bear in mind that a high-level Russian delegation visited Niger, led by Colonel General Yunus Bekirov, the Russian Deputy Defense Minister. This visit carried significant weight and marked a crucial milestone in the deepening ties between the two nations. The presence of such a senior Russian official signaled Moscow's keen interest in strengthening its influence in Niger and the broader Sahel region. During the visit, the main topic of discussion was how to improve defense sector collaboration. The Nigerian government reported that an agreement aiming at strengthening cooperation in the field of defense between Nigerian and Russian officials was signed. However, the exact contents of this protocol are still unknown and covered in secrecy. There are conjectures that the accord may facilitate amplified military assistance, cooperative training sessions, and the possible dispatch of Russian advisors or private military contractors to Niger. It can be said that it was this visit that led to the arrival of the Russian military trainers. The visit by the Russian delegation carried symbolic significance, as it occurred mere months after the military coup that ousted President Mohamed Bazoum in July 2023. The warm reception accorded to the Russian officials by the military leaders signaled Niger's shift away from its traditional Western partners and its embrace of Russia as a new ally in the region. Reports have surfaced indicating that Iran is also actively looking for methods to increase its presence and influence in Africa amidst these shifting alliances and power dynamics in the Sahel region. Niger has shown promise as an Iranian partner in this quest because of its strategic position and abundant natural resources. Such collaboration may have far-reaching effects. Significant uranium reserves are found in Niger, a strategically important resource that might be useful to Iran's nuclear program. Even though Niger has said that it denies rumors that it signed a covert uranium deal with Iran, future collaboration is still a possibility. Bear in mind that Iran's foreign policy is based on the idea of exporting the Islamic Revolution, which aims to replicate the lessons learned from the 1979 Iranian Revolution in both Islamic and non-Islamic countries. The founder of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Ruhollah Khomeini, has made this policy clear on several occasions. The export of the revolution is one of the central catchphrases of the Iranian Islamic Revolution. Therefore, the goal is to export the revolution as an ideology, a way of thinking, and an approach to epistemology. Niger's involvement in uranium commerce or other forms of cooperation with Iran would cause Western countries to become concerned and strain already strained relations even more. Iran's nuclear aspirations have long alarmed the international community, and any possible access to Niger's uranium reserves may be viewed as a danger to both regional and international security. Furthermore, Tehran's larger aspirations in Africa may find a foothold in Niger if its participation in the country grows. Iran might try to use its connections with Niger as a means of gaining access to other African countries in order to establish alliances and broaden its influence throughout the continent. There may be financial ramifications to this possible collaboration. Iran might provide Niger with trade agreements, investments, or support in a number of industries, including mining, infrastructure, and energy. Cooperation like this, nevertheless, can also give rise to worries about the possibility of sanctions evasion or money being diverted to finance Iran's contentious actions. It is important to remember that the details of any possible deals and the degree of Iran's engagement in Niger are still unknown at this time. Though some regional and international actors are wary about the potential ramifications for security, stability, and the balance of power in the unstable Sahel region, the mere prospect of such cooperation has drawn criticism. Niger might be looking to Russia for military and economic support in an effort to ease the pressure brought on by the ECOWAS sanctions. Russia has been aggressively pursuing African countries and positioning itself as a counterweight to Western influence due to its abundant resources and geopolitical aspirations. In light of regional pressure in Niger, this alliance might offer a lifeline and a way to reaffirm its sovereignty. It is crucial to remember, nevertheless, that there are deeper issues between Niger and the ECOWAS than just the current sanctions. Given that ECOWAS is dedicated to preserving democratic values and denouncing unlawful transitions of leadership, the coup itself has caused controversy. It is worth noting that two other ECOWAS members, Mali and Burkina Faso, have also experienced coups in recent years and have aligned themselves with Niger's junta. These three countries have formed an alliance called the Alliance of Sahel States, further complicating the dynamics within the regional bloc. Amidst such challenges, there have been rumors that Niger and the regional bloc could be able to reconcile if the ECOWAS sanctions are lifted. But such a step would probably be subject to requirements, such as the military government's promise to hold democratic elections and restore the constitution within a certain amount of time. It is likely that finding a careful balance between communication, regional diplomacy, and a willingness to establish common ground among all parties concerned will be necessary to resolve the problem in Niger. The ECOWAS's decision to suspend the sanctions may encourage the Niger administration to hold substantive talks and open the door for a smooth transition to democratic rule. Any such compromises, meanwhile, would need the military's top brass to make good on their promises to uphold democratic values and respect the Nigerian people's will. The way this issue turns out will be greatly influenced by the dynamics inside ECOWAS as well as the might of outside players like Russia. The recent security cooperation negotiations between President Putin and the military ruler of Niger demonstrate how international relations are changing and how common interests are being pursued. Russia's move to provide air defense systems and military advisors to Niger signals a dramatic change in the dynamics of the region and prompts questions about the wider geopolitical consequences. Russia claims that these steps are intended to strengthen Niger's defenses and counter any security threats, but are these their real reasons? Russia's deployment of military trainers implies a more substantial involvement in Niger's defense industry, which may be a sign of a longer-term strategic interest in the area. However, what is known is that Russia hopes to increase its influence and develop stronger ties with Niger by offering training and assistance, which could eventually result in political and economic advantages. This also prompts worries about the possibility of an arms race in the area, since other nations might retaliate by stepping up their military buildup or pursuing comparable defense accords. This move challenges the influence of Western powers and disrupts the established balance of power. It is seen as part of Russia's broader strategy to expand its global reach and counter Western hegemony. Given these implications, it is essential for the international community to closely monitor Russia's activities in Niger and ensure that they align with principles of peace, stability, and respect for national sovereignty. Diplomatic engagement, transparency, and cooperation between all stakeholders are crucial in addressing the complex security challenges facing the region. Do you believe that Russia sending military trainers and air defense systems to Niger will help bolster the insecurities in the country? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe to the New Tourist channel. Turn on notifications too so you get notified whenever we upload videos like this. Thanks for watching and see you in our next video.